Hey, all Brad here with another quick video. Customer of mine, Dan, sent in an I/O board, a widget board, uh, from a Joust game. Again, this is where all of the inputs from your control panel, joysticks, buttons, all that typically come in. There's also another set of inputs that go in through the ROM board. Your diagnostic switches, most of all, those all come from the coin door. So you have the diagnostic switches. There's three of those inputs. Coin switches, there's typically three of those. You have your left, center, and right. There's a slam switch. I think there's provisions for another thing in there, but those digital inputs coming through the ROM. All the other ones, your player one start, all your joysticks and everything coming through the widget board, the I/O board. So he was having some issues with that. Came in, I put it on the bench. Sure enough, wiggling the ribbon cable, the thing would act up and either get no inputs or they were all flash and flicker. So put it on the bench, replace the ribbon cable, replace the electrolytic capacitor on that board, as well as the two 10-pin Molex headers. Original ones had round pins. I replaced them with the newer modern square pins, which have much more surface area, better contact. And a lot of times, most of these Molex headers over the years have cold solder joints and things, and a lot of people say they reflow them, but that's really difficult to do. So the cost of these connectors, with the improvements being square, I just replace them all, always do. So I never have any problems with boards coming back where there was a connection issue due to one of those pins. So let me switch over to the bench cam. I'll go over what I did again, show you what it looks like, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how I test them using a Splat board set. So let me switch over here. So here is the I/O board, and again, ribbon cable's new, electrolytic capacitor's new, and the two 10-pin Molex headers. And you can see here on my bench, I have all on these two 10-pin connectors. Um, they're basically duplicates of each other. The pin 10 is ground on both, and then pins 1 through 9 here are potential inputs. Even though Joust doesn't use them all, different games didn't use them all. Interestingly enough, the only game that used all 18 inputs is Splat, and I do have a Splat ROM board on my bench, and I use that for testing. So basically, I load up Splat, I go into the test input screen, and then I'm able to sequentially drive all 18 of these inputs with a little Arduino controller that I have with my PlayStation controller, and it allows me to test them. So, even though that this game is for Joust and I could easily test those inputs individually that are used for an upright game, if somebody wants to put this in a Robotron or, Bubbles or something like that, I want to make sure that when they leave my shop, all 18 are working perfect. So I've mentioned before, I also return all the old customer parts, kind of an old habit from working at a dealership years ago. Old cap, connectors, and ribbon cable. A lot of times on these, you'll find these 4049. These are basically inverting buffers. They just kind of isolate the control panel in the outside world from, more expensive components like the PIA and such on the board. And a lot of times, if there's a failure of one input or something like that, you'll find one of these three 4049 buffers will be bad. So anyway, let me switch back over. We'll take a look at the actual gameplay. We'll boot up the game, Splat, go into the test screen, and then we'll go through some tests here. Again, I have a little remote control on my bench. I will boot it up. What you were seeing up there is just some artifacts from the last time I had the game up. Again, I'm capturing this digitally. No audio for this right now for this run through. So here we are booted into Splat. And again, I've got a PlayStation controller I've configured. So let me drop into the diagnostics. All ROMs are good, no RAM errors. CMOS is good, audio, and then here we go. We've got the switch test here. So what I did is I wrote a little program. So I load this program into my little device that reads this PlayStation controller, and I set it up so when I press the X button on the controller, it will sequentially go through and drive all of the inputs, both on the I/O board and the ROM board. So let me just hit this button here, and you'll see them come up on the screen one at a time. So interesting, if we go up where it says walk up one, that's the first input. The ones above that, the slam switch, the center coin, left coin, high score, reset, and right coin, those are all on the ROM board. So if we count down from walk up one down to throw right two, again, these are for Splat, you'll count 18 of them there. So that's basically a quick way I can verify or validate that all inputs are working. Now, if one of those lines is blank, or if it's a bottom one where it says to the right 2, I do have a schematic that shows me where those physical inputs go into the I/O board, and I can test and see, if there's a component bad. But in this case, and then I have it set up where if I press the diamond button, I can clear them all and then test again. So I can just, and it'll keep them actuated in this state. So if I get down on the bench, with my scope and meters and such, and looking at the inputs, I can either have them driven where they're all pulled, in this case low to ground, or release the input where they're allowed to be pulled up to 5 volts. So this is going to do this video up here again. Everything test good with this board, so I'm going to get it boxed up and heading back and get that game back online. So thanks for watching. Appreciate it.